Coming up on today's episode, we're getting an NFL Week 4 recap. The Eagles stay undefeated. Ravens fall to 1-3, possibly lose Lamar Jackson. Packers and Cowboys ended in a tie. And Tyreek Hill suffers a gruesome injury on Monday Night Football. All that coming up. All right, everybody, welcome to Sports Talk from the Crib. I'm your host, Tanner Christian. We got a lot to get into today. NFL Week 4 action. We got some great games. We had some more unfortunate injuries happen to some key players. But first, here, if you're new, episodes are airing every Tuesday and Friday. It's available on all streaming platforms. Check out the website, sportstalkfromthecrib.com. And our social media is at Feel the Heat Entertainment. It's Feel the Heat ENT. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You name it, give us so follow and subscribe us on those. You'll be able to see on YouTube and TikTok Coco Bean, my little co-host, making game picks. So you'll see those shorts of us on there. You know, not too bad last week. We went with the Dolphins because she refuses to pick against the Dolphins. I love her for being a loyal fan. And they actually won on Monday Night Football. The game pick, so 4 o'clock games, though, she missed a lot. And then we both picked the Packers, and they tie. Are you kidding me? But I think overall, you only lost 4. So you only lost 4 again, man. She's averaging only 4 losses a week, which is pretty impressive. And a tie. So we got 4 losses and a tie. So I guess technically we lost 5. But anyways, first topic we're going to get into, let's talk about that Monday Night Football game. The New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins rocking those new rivalry uniforms. They look pretty cool, actually. They look better than the ones they have currently. Kind of hides that logo, you know what I mean? But anyways, the Dolphins come out with the victory. Some people were labeling this as like the toilet bowl. It's kind of sad to be dogging these teams like that, but that's kind of how we're at with the fan bases on both sides of the Jets and the Dolphins. But anyways, here, Dolphins came out with the win, 27-21. Devon A-Chain looked great, 20 carries, 99 yards, a touchdown. And the return of Darren Waller. No, he is not retired. He's playing tight end for the Miami Dolphins. First game of the year, 3 catches, 27 yards, a couple touchdowns. Justin Fields, I thought, played well for New York. And, you know, he had 20 of 27, 226 yards, a TD. He had a big 4th-and-1 run for a touchdown. So he had 7 carries, 81 yards, and a TD on the ground as well. But the biggest news to come out of this game, Tyreek Hill, he was 6 catches, 67 yards, but then suffered a gruesome knee injury, dislocation. They're saying possible ACL tear as well. He's in the hospital. We'll know a little bit more in the coming days, but he's going to be out for the year. And it's just unfortunate. Over there clapping, big smiles on him. You know the controversy pretty much surrounded him from last year to this year, but he's played good. You've seen his passion. I think he won his teammates back, but it's just unfortunate that now his season is over for the Miami Dolphins. And in all honesty, Miami team is going nowhere this year, but you never want to see somebody have this kind of a horrific injury, especially during the tail end of his career. You know, with all that speed and whatnot, we've seen him kind of slow down a little bit over the past couple of years. But, you know, you just don't want to see that kind of injury happen to anybody, regardless of how you feel about him. You know, he put us all out there. I thought he was going to have a pretty damn good game, you know, and unfortunately that happened. But the Dolphins still came out with a victory. They go to 1-3. Jets fall to 0-4. And it's like, where do both of these franchises go from here? Jets haven't played bad the last couple of weeks. They've lost, you know, that heartbreaker against Tampa Bay, I guess, when they blocked a field goal, took the lead, but then Baker Mayfield led them down the field. Now you got this game. It's like, what is going on with the Jets' defense is what I want to say. I mean, Miami was wide open for most of the night. A-Chan running between the tackles, getting almost 5 yards a carry. Like, that's un-Jets-like defense. And Aaron Glenn, what have you brought to this team? This team is struggling hard. Miami's backs were against the wall. You could have like really slammed the door shut on this team. But I like the game Mike McDaniel called. Tua made some okay plays. He's still, I don't know, man. Even that post game interview, I don't know where his head's really at. It just seems very odd to me, the things he's saying and he's talking about. It's a little uncomfortable for me to hear him. But anyways, big victory. Miami going from here. They got Carolina next. They're hitting a little bit easier part of their schedule where they can maybe get some wins in, but I'm still not expecting a lot of things out of Miami. And the Jets, same thing. Where are you going? Nowhere this year. Both these franchises are going to be at the bottom of the barrel. Lucky to get 6 wins out of Miami. Even the Jets, it'd be lucky to get 6 wins out of any one of these teams this year. Because one of the biggest things, who are they going to throw the ball to in Miami? Jalen Waddle is going to be your number 1 now. We know how his durability issues are. Is it going to be the screen game with Devon Achane every game? What are we going to do with that? So I'm not really looking forward to Miami ball, even though they played that first drive of the game for the Jets where they, what was it, 14 or 15 straight rushing yards or rushing attempts, all the way down the field, and they fumbled at the goal line. I thought it was going to be a rough night again, but they bailed them out. They made Justin Fields fumble a little bit later in the game as well. The defense came up when it needed it most, and they actually fought, man. Because that first drive, I was like, oh, my goodness. Here it goes. What I was saying. Just run the ball right up the middle of Miami. You'll be fine. And they did that for the first, 13 plays of the game. And then they got a turnover. So it switched the momentum back. They started believing themselves. They started getting off the blocks because they were just getting manhandled on the offensive line and defensive line. Both sides of the ball there early on. They came out with a W. So good job, Miami. Good job, Anthony Weaver, defensive coordinator. Good job, You guys fought this game, and that's all we asked for. All right, let's hop into Ravens at the Chiefs. Ravens. Another team in it's like a free fall. They lost 37-20 against the Chiefs. They fall to 1-3. Chiefs moved to 2-2. Pat Mahomes, like 25-37, 270 yards, 4 touchdowns. You were wondering where that was at. Where is he going to get those big touchdowns in the passing game? And he did it. The return of Xavier Worthy really helped. He had 5 catches, 83 yards on the day. And so hey, Xavier Worthy's back. He's healthy. You're going to get Rasheed Rice back in a few weeks from suspension. He'll be in there. You would pair him with J.J. Smith-Schuster and Marquise Hollywood Brown. And then you got Travis Kelce, of course, the old reliable, even though he doesn't have much left, barely can move out there. But now if they get anything going in the run game with Pacheco or Kareem Hunt, Chiefs, they're just kind of staying in it. We just can't expect an Andy Reid team to struggle. We can't expect the Pat Mahomes team to keep struggling. They're going to find a way to kind of stay in it and then make some magic happen. And they did in this one, winning by 17. The big story is this. The Ravens, I think the whole entire defense is injured now. They're one of the worst defenses in the league. The worst defense in the league. All that talent on the ball for offense and defenses can't stop anybody. They can't, pass protect. They can't get after the quarterback. They can't do anything. Let's face it. They're all injured. You don't even know who's out there anymore. So, big defensive tackle. I can never say his name right, so I'm going to try and who that is. Calvin Noy, I think, was in and now. Then you had the corners in and now. Patrick Quinn. Who's out there right now? I think he's the only one left that I know that is out there. You got the corner, Nate Wiggins. He was out, I think, as well. It's just, how can you survive all that? And now, to put the icing on the cake, Lamar Jackson. So, oh, man, 14 of 20, 147 yards, a TD and a pick. He had 6 carries and 48 yards before leaving in the third quarter. Hamstring injury. Don't know the timetable of him. He may miss a week or two. This Ravens team is just struggling, and it's just like, what more can you do? Remember, the biggest factor is when you get into the playoffs, who do you hand the ball to? Derrick Henry, and they refuse to do that. Even though the year before when Derrick Henry got there, They went to the AFC Championship game. I think, what did they have? Like 8 total carries or 6 total carries or something in that game. Your bread and butter, run the football. Now, Derrick Henry has cost them 2 games by fumbling in the fourth quarter, so I can kind of see the point at the moment. But I think he only had 8 touches in this game against the Chiefs. What do you have to do against Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs? Run the ball, chew the clock. Don't give him opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, because eventually, that man's going to put it in the end zone. And that's what he did. So I'm not understanding that, again, from a standpoint. Keep your defense is one of the worst in the league. You have all those injuries. Try and keep them off the field as much as possible. Eat the clock. Run the ball. Derrick Henry, I don't care. Give the man the rock, man. Like, he should be getting the ball multiple times a game, no matter what. If he has less than 15 touches, I think you're doing something wrong. He leads the league in 20-plus yard rushes. What does he have, over 400 yards already? But it's on 23rd, 24th, I believe, in carries out of running backs. So the guy is averaging a heck of a run here in this, getting big gains, and against a Chiefs defense that was kind of struggling for the most part. I get on the offensive side of the ball, you're losing the fullback in Ricard. You're losing Isaiah Likely, the tight end. I know you have injuries there too, but it's like you have to be running the ball against Pat Mahomes. I don't care who you are. You got to try. You got to keep trying, because you got to keep the clock rolling. And this seems like they want to play fake, stand in the pocket, and try and get a deep ball. It's like we're playing Madden, and we're just trying to sling it around the field and don't care what play we're calling. And that's why the Ravens, they just can't win against great teams or good teams because of this. And we've seen it through the first 4 games of this year. Granted, it was a daunting start of a schedule for them. It really is. But you got to get back to your bread and butter. You got to protect your defense. You're not going to protect them if you're not out there using time of possession wisely and running the football. All right, let's talk about them Cowboys. Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys, the return of Micah Parsons. You know, he was on the team, of course, in the beginning of the year, purchased the suite, thinking he's going to be a Cowboy. But guess what? No refunds. So his whole family and friends was in the suite there in Dallas, cheering him on for the opposing team. But, this ended in typical Cowboy drama fashion. I think both teams should be embarrassed, quite honestly. 40-40, it was a tie. We saw both teams make field goals in the overtime, drag on for a bunch of nothing, and 40-40. I'm sitting here, one eye open, trying to see what's going to happen. I'm like, oh, man, something's going to happen. And then we get tied. And then I'm like, okay, they win. And I'm like, wait, hold on. The Green Bay is going to have a chance to tie this? Or I guess this is how this works now in overtime. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, 40-40. And then get delay. Game over. We are tied in Jerry's world, 40-40. Let's go over some stats. Jordan Love, 31 of 43, 337 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions. Threw all of his touchdowns to Romeo Doubs. He caught all 3 of them for a touchdown. So Josh Jacobs, 22 carries, 86 yards, a couple of touchdowns himself. George Pickens filling in for CeeDee Lamb, played well, 8 catches, 134 yards, 2 TDs. Dak Prescott, 31 of 40, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So some great stats, great numbers to put up, right? But yeah, touchdowns, very few incompletions. It was just the biggest thing was, where was the sacks? Where was somebody getting some pressure on the quarterback? Oh, wait, Micah Parsons saved the day in overtime by sacking Dak Prescott. And there was it, like the 5 or 6 yard line? Well, he had a clear shot to the end zone, so Micah didn't get him. The Cowboys were winning this football game. So that was the incoming sack. I was waiting for it the whole entire game, and I fell asleep during the moment when it happened, because I had one eye open, trying to stay alive and awake for this game, and then all for it to end in a tie is very disappointing. I wanted the Green Bay to go in there and dominate. At least when we won in Dallas with the answer saying, hey, we don't need Micah Parsons. We're better off without him and win the football game. But no, none of this happened because, this is something's always just going to happen. Like I've been saying when it comes to Dallas, something's going to happen, right? That's what I've been saying for weeks on this podcast. When I talk about them, how about them Cowboys and everything that does it? And Jerry is all excited in the booth doing his conferences, and it's like, man, you tied. You didn't even win the football game. But Dak's playing well. I just don't know what to think. We thought in the first two games where Green Bay really shut down Detroit. First game of the year, Jahmyr Gibbs couldn't get any rushing yards. Second game, nobody can get anything. It's just like you make your divisional opponents suffer, right? And then the last couple of games, Green Bay, they lose to Cleveland, and now they tie to Dallas. 2 games in my eyes they should have won. The defense shouldn't be playing this bad. CeeDee Lamb was not on the field. You got to let Dak Prescott throw 319 yards? Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Let's be real. Cowboys aren't that great. When Caleb Williams from Chicago was blowing you guys out, and their defense, who had injuries themselves, dominated Dallas. What does this say about Green Bay these past couple of games? Are they getting too comfortable? Hey, Micah Parsons is on the team. He's going to do all the hard work for us. Where he's going to get the sacks, make everybody better. Everything was so kumbaya like the first 2 games, but these last 2 games is very disappointing. And Green Bay, quite frankly, should be ashamed of themselves. That's what I got to say about this game. Both teams should just be ashamed of themselves. I don't want to watch a 40-40 game unless it's exciting. If it really is, we're seeing blown up plays. We're seeing some penalties. We're not seeing any kind of defensive rush. It was just a free-for-all. To me, it looked like a scrimmage at certain points in this game where I'm like, what am I watching? Sunday Night Football, I got to watch this? Come on. Neither team should take away anything. I can't take anything away from this game. Neither team should be proud of themselves. Fans should be proud of themselves. But hey, I can't wait to see what happens next in Dallas. And I can't wait to see what happens next for Green Bay. Micah Parsons, get this defense together, man. Y'all got to get after the quarterback and stop somebody. Y'all let Joe Flacco make a comeback on you in the previous game. Now, you're on the road where you kind of own Dallas in this building. This is basically like Green Bay building when they come to play. Aaron Rodgers used to torch them. Jordan Love's first playoff game, he torched them. And then he played well in this one. But 40-40 tie. Man, I can't live with it. That's all I got to say about it, is that both these teams should just be ashamed of themselves. All right, let's talk about some real teams. Some teams I really like. I don't particularly like the Eagles, but they're undefeated still. They beat the Buccaneers 31-25. So they go to 4-0. Bucks 3-1. Jalen Hurts had a couple of TDs, passes on the day. Dallas Goedert caught both of them. So that was a good one. So they even had a fake tush push and a special teams TD to help solidify this win and stay undefeated. Bucky Irving had 102 receiving yards. He had that long pass play that he took to the house for a touchdown. So this is a game where the Buccaneers, without Mike Evans, they did get Tristan Wirfs back to left tackle. Chris Godwin did return. He only had a couple catches, but he had 10 targets. So it's just about those two getting back on the same page and whatnot. I don't see that being a problem here going forward. I think they got Seattle next, which would be a challenge. Seattle's defense is pretty good this year. But Baker Mayfield, couple touchdowns, interception. He looked about injured there during the course of this game. I know he's fighting for an injury, but, I never count him out. And the other big thing in this game, to go into the half, Chase McLaughlin, when he hit that 65-yard field goal, I'm like, what in the world, right? So it's just, the Bucs just got that safety at the end, but the second half, 19 total points. They couldn't do anything besides those 2 field goals in the first half. It's very disappointing. But I expect Baker Mayfield to really get back. He had that long 77-yard to the rookie. He was playing some ball, man. This rookie out of Ohio State, Emeka Ibuka, is a baller, man. Like, he is crazy good, and they're lucky they got him to go with Chris Godwin on his return when they get Mike Evans back to get a little healthier here in the coming weeks. So I think the Buccaneers are still going to be a problem. I still think they're going to come out of this NFC South as well. Bucky Irv, a 72-yarder. What was the other kick Chase McLaughlin had? Was it 58? He had 2. It was like 2 of them almost, because he had a 65. Yeah, and a 58-yard field. I was about to say, I thought he had 2 60-plus yarders. We had a 58 and then that 65-yarder to, end the game or end the first half. And that safety, we're not even going to count that. That was at the end of the game. It was 31-23. So that's why the score is 31-25. Looking a little odd there. But anyways, for the Buccaneers, don't take that loss lightly there, Buck fans. I still think the Buccaneers are going to be a team and a great team to get into the playoffs and possibly see a rematch here for this upcoming playoffs here. I really think they're going to get into it, put it that way. The Eagles going forward, man, I mean, they just find ways to win. Doesn't matter if it's defense, special teams, offensively, even when they don't look good, even when A.J. Brown only gets a couple of catches, even when we don't even know he's on the field for some reason. They don't like to throw him the ball. I don't get it. But they got Denver next Sunday. The Bucs get Seattle next Sunday. So everybody's, getting some West teams. But the Eagles at home against Denver, I expect another win there going against Bo Nix, unless he plays some kind of Superman type of game, or the Eagles just give it away. So I expect the Eagles can continue to roll. The Bucs go to Seattle. It's a tough place to play. But I think the Buccaneers can possibly win. They have a chance to win that game anyways. I believe in the Buccaneers this year. And that's going to wrap up today's episode. And thank you all for joining me here on Sports Talk from the Crib with your favorite sports host, Tanner Christian. Remember, we're available on all streaming platforms, so be sure to give us a subscription or subscribe to those. Apple, Spotify, you name it, we are on it. Amazon, Sirius XM, anywhere you listen to your podcast, we are on it. Check out the website, sportstalkfromthecrib.com. You stream the podcast on there as well. And social media, Feel the Heat Entertainment, Feel the Heat ENT, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, TikTok. We got Coco Bean and I doing game picks. We do it for Thursday night. We put something together for Sunday. Of course, we do pick a primetime game. Of course, she's going to get on me if I don't pick the Miami Dolphins. We've seen some couple of clips already for that. So give us a shout out and subscribe on there. Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you all on Friday.